Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Lewis Brown, the Local 1000 President. Today is March the 4th, 2022, and we got a lot to talk about this evening. A lot has happened this week, and so we're letting everyone in on the Zoom while I'm doing Facebook Live as well. So hopefully people got the Zoom message. If you didn't, you can always contact me at 408-207-2339. And the next time we do a Zoom, I can send it to you as well. All right, so we're still letting people in. So we'll try to let more people come in. As you know, Local 1000 believes that the three vice presidents this week have successfully suspended me. And I tell you, they have not successfully suspended me. And I guess they've been sending out emails trying to validate what they did. And I guess they had an outside attorney try to validate their actions. So we all know with attorneys, if you pay them enough money, they'll tell you what you want to hear. So I know membership's being told that the actions of the three vice presidents are legal and they're ethical, but they're not. So let me say that for you again. They were already suspended on February 25th, 2022 by me, the president, by the policy file. The union is claiming that I didn't do it correctly, but that's a false claim. Again, that's a false claim. Because I'm telling the truth. And so, I wrote down some things. And it comes down to what I call it the 4 T's. So people on Facebook, I hope you're listening. People on Zoom, hope you're listening as well. Trust, transparency, telling the truth, and the total tenacious togetherness. We're going to start with trust. Regardless of how my videos may go, good or bad, you know you trust me. You do that from June 30th, my first day, and I've been working every day since then, as someone reminded me today. You trust me. You say, well, Richard's so crazy, we can trust Richard. So, I don't tell you lies. I tell the truth. But there's been people who've been parading around, wearing masks, in a masquerade ball, trying to convince you that I'm this angry black man that needs to be removed from office. And that's an absolute lie. And when I've given you total transparency, that now they're trying to copy because they told you years ago they were for transparency and for change, but that was a lie. That was the one group. And then the other group likes the status quo. And so you saw me do board of directors meetings on Zoom. And the only time it went off of Zoom is when the board voted to not do things out in the open. And so by the policy file, there's certain things that they will take into executive session, and that way it's still kept secret. And I'm against that. Because anytime people go into an executive session, they're getting ready to do something that they don't want to be held accountable for. In fact, tomorrow on a special board meeting that I didn't call for, this illegal board meeting tomorrow, they're going to have their general session and they'll talk about some things. Not quite for sure what they're talking about. And then they'll go into executive session. That's where they'll try to suspend me permanently from the union, and they'll try to basically take away my membership. And so they'll do this all in secrecy, and no one will know. Now, someone says, well, can't we have someone, a court reporter, record the minutes and stuff? You can bet 1,000% that the meeting notes, if they take any, won't be accurate. Because you can't trust them. And they lack transparency. And they're not telling you the truth. And I'm sincere when I say this. And I want to, listen, let me take a quick moment. I want to thank everyone who has been supporting me, because it's not easy to support the person they're attacking. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, Richard, you should have been taking those donations to help find an attorney a long time ago. Well, let's talk about that. You can always cash app me. You can text me at 408-207-2339. I can send you my cash app. We're raising money to get an attorney to fight these things. The illegal board meeting in October, and this illegal board meeting tomorrow, along with the lawsuit that was filed against me. Now, I did have some attorneys that our money was paying for, but when they suspended me on Monday, the 28th of February, they also dismissed those attorneys. Now, today they sent out an email, I believe, with a legal opinion saying that their suspensions are legal. Well, I would say no. And it's funny how they had to go to an outside lawyer to do this. Now, I think those lawyers were on the East Coast. We have a chief counsel that could have easily wrote up what they did on the outside. But they paid money for an outside attorney to do that. So my question is, sometimes you have to have some common sense. They're trying to justify legally everything they've done towards me or to me, even though I had already suspended them. And they keep saying that I suspended their membership. That's not what I suspended. And so I have copies of what I did. And it says here, in my opinion, the above actions pose an immediate threat to the welfare of Local 1000. And in the opinion of the president, the actions of the member are such to impose an immediate threat to the welfare of Local 1000. The president may summarily suspend the member. They're telling people that I suspended their membership. I did not suspend their membership. They're still paying money to the union.
Join the meeting.
So, this idea that I suspended their membership, I dispute that. What it says here, you are to conduct no Local 1000 business while on suspension. That email went out through the legal department. Okay? That email went out through the legal department. And I have a text message that I sent to Ann Giese over the weekend saying, please send out a reminder email on Monday telling the 3 VPs they've been suspended and they can't do their duties. She said, thank you, I will do that. She didn't have a problem on the weekend. But now all of a sudden, she's flipped her script. Now, this is where things are getting very interesting. All week you're getting these emails validating their actions because they're worried. They should be. They should be. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, we're just going to quit the union. This is not the time to quit the union. And we don't quit in America when things get tough. We dig in and we fight. And I know a lot of people say, we'll just take our money and then they'll be happy. So I see Myrna Lim asking, do I have a legal team? Not yet, Myrna. But if you'd like to join, I would really appreciate it. Now, we don't quit in America. We dig in and we fight. What they're trying to do, they want the supporters of Richard Lewis Brown. They want the people who believe in a 21% pay increase. They want the people who want that dignity clause to not have the final decision maker as Cal HR. They want the people who believe in themselves. They want you to quit. And if that means by you quitting, they lose 20% of revenue for Local 1000, they do not care. They want me gone and they want you gone. They don't want people who believe in themselves. They don't want people to make a joyful noise who's going to fight and go on strike and shut down the 4th largest economy on earth. They don't want that. They want to keep things the way they are. Here's another tidbit. They don't want to enforce the contract. They have no intention on enforcing the contract. Because remember, these people tell you that the politicians are our bosses. So if the politicians are our bosses and they approve our contract, when the politicians say jump, we jump. But not when I'm your president. And that's why you love me. That's why you tune in to me. That's why you put up with me on my good days and my questionable days. Because you see a realness in me that you've never seen before and you'll never see again. Now, let's get to something really critical. This is the election year. They have to remove me from office so they can give money to this current governor, Gavin Newsom. That's the first thing. Oh, by the way, it's the money. They want the salary stipends. They want those salary stipends. If listen, if they're so professional and they're so dignified and they care so much about the members, if they care so much, have them put it in writing that they won't accept the salary stipend while they're serving as the statewide officers. Have them put that in writing. They won't. I guarantee you they won't do it because they want the money. They want the money. They know who they are. So, I'm trying to cover some things because they're sending out these emails. Now, this special board meeting tomorrow that they've been begging to have, it's going to happen. Will we know exactly the actions? No, because they're going to close it off when they go into executive session, when they start to really try to, quote, take action against me and run me out of the union. Now, it's unfortunate that the voice of membership is being taken from them. It's unfortunate. Again, it's unfortunate that the voice of membership is being taken from them. But we're going to fight this. Now, I see a hand raised, so I'm going to bring this first person in, DLC 770 Secretary Treasurer, Derek Rowe. Go ahead, Derek.
Good evening, Mr. President. How are you?
I'm doing good.
That's good. That's great. So, I heard what you said earlier at the start of this meeting, and I would like to add a fifth T to the list of the four T's there. And that's the most precious commodity known to mankind, and that's time. You know, we can trust people, we can have transparency, but when we're getting robbed of our time, then there's something wrong. And that's exactly what this board's doing. That's exactly what these VPs are doing. They are robbing all of us of our time. Time we could be using and utilizing to fight for a better contract. Time we could be utilizing to spend time with our families. Time we could be using to fight for the best future we could ever possibly get. And I'm going to say this right now. I want everyone out there to listen. Mr. President here mentioned something earlier. You can use the Cash App. Those of you who have already donated and contributed through our GoFundMe page, thank you. Your donation will be utilized properly. Your time will be utilized properly. I am creating a Facebook page that will represent all of us here tonight. I will be the moderator along with someone else, and that will be launched this weekend, so we can all keep up to date. Whether we meet up here or we go on the forum, we can all meet up and we can develop action plans together in solidarity. Don't let them steal our time. Let's keep up the good work. Let's keep up the good fight. Time is ticking. Time is ticking. Look at that clock. Every second matters. In 24 hours at this exact time, 6:43 p.m. on March 5th, Saturday evening, we may be looking at a different situation than we are right now. So time is crucial. Let's get on it. Thank you, Mr. President. Have a great evening, and I will continue to fight until the wheels fall off. Let's get it going.
All right. Thank you for calling in, Derek. And you know, I'm so embarrassed. He makes a great point. Time. How did I miss that? How did I miss that T? All right. He's absolutely right. The time, which goes into about a better contract. As you know, we should be, gathering our forces, mobilizing, strategizing on how to get a great contract next year. Now, some people don't want that. I want people to understand this. And anybody who's on Facebook who didn't get the Zoom link, I apologize. But the Zoom link is actually on Facebook, on my Facebook page, R.L. Brown. Now, they say in order to get a good contract, we have to do certain things. What they don't tell you is they've been doing these same organizing strategies for years upon years, and you've never had a high quality contract. And that's done purposely to keep you in a childlike state. Okay? Now I see people say, where's this GoFundMe page? You can Cash App me as well. So listen, they do these things in a certain manner. And they do it in this certain manner to deceive you. And I talked about this in all my campaigns. Now you're seeing it up front and personal. And they're trying to justify removing me so they can continue business as usual. Here's their problem. They're not even unified. They're trying to convince you, the three VPs are trying to convince you that they're working together. That's not true. Just trust me on this. It's not true. The two VPs, for Members for Transparency and Change, Annika Walls and David Jimenez, their agenda is different than Irene Green. It's different than Irene Green. Irene Green ran under the Yvonne Walker slate. So when they had the illegal board meeting in October, Annika and David didn't go. But Irene went, and she ran for chair and lost to Bill. There's confusion and conflict here. And that's why you can't trust these people. Because they all want the power. But they want the power to only enhance themselves. They're not taking that power to enhance you. And this is why when you see them on videos and they're using all these, beautiful words and they're prim and proper, they're saying all this stuff, they're saying a bunch of hot garbage. They're not telling you anything. And they don't have any intentions on ever telling you anything of value. They want to keep you in a dark state and they tell you what they want you to know. I tell you the whole story. When did you ever see Local 1000 website so transparent? When did you ever have PowerPoints that you can download and keep for yourself? All those PowerPoints basically tell you on the history of the union and where we're going. All those PowerPoints. You've never had that before. And the thing about it, I told you from the surveys with the people. And I made sure that them surveys went out correctly. Those surveys were not tilted. Okay, and I see what Myrna Lim is saying. Now, I've given you all this background information. Oh, so I'm so glad Richard Wake came on. The VPs are united. The policy file changes will happen tomorrow. I'm glad Richard Wake said that. He's the DLC president for 767. He's right. The policy file change will change tomorrow. It'll change you legally, Mr. Wake. And I do see things coming. I do see things coming. And, when you throw punches at people, when they start to throw those punches back at you, don't start that crying. Don't. This is not over. And, I love when people get on Facebook and they say all these things, and because the truth's going to come out on these people, and you're going to see what I'm saying. Because these contracts we've had for years, they've been crappy, childlike, condescending contracts. If I'm not your chief negotiator, you're not going to get no good contract. I'm going to tell you that. So, our union is really at stake right now. But like I told you at the beginning of this conversation, they want people to quit. They don't want you around. Because when you're around voting and putting a person of character, a person that has the courage of their convictions to speak out against the evilness, they can't tolerate that. They can't. They're going to get caught in their lies and mischief. That's a promise. Now, I see another person with their hand raised. Yolanda Williams. Please, Yolanda, go ahead. Yolanda Williams. All right, you can unmute yourself, Yolanda.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's my earpiece. I have two questions, President Brown, and hello, members that support President Brown. One question, and maybe for everybody. Just, can you explain two things? One, what and where in the policy the VPs can suspend you? That's one. Wait, that's one. And how did they lock you out of the building? I mean, did they do it real early? They came in midnight? What happened? So if you can answer those two questions, I would appreciate that.
So I'm going to answer the second one first. They locked me out early Monday morning to the best of my knowledge. That was on February 28th. How did they suspend me? By the policy file in section division 9, I think it was 9.0.04. Here's the problem. They were already suspended. And here's the other problem. They can't meet together to have an executive committee meeting without having me. I call the meetings, not them. Now, they're going to put their spin on it, and they're going to have attorneys say the things that they want them to say because they paid those attorneys' fees. Well, actually, our money paid the attorney fees. So that's how they're putting the spin on it, so they can convince the board to go in tomorrow and suspend me, I guess permanently, or for a period of time. I don't know. And what? Yes.
So are you telling the members that the 3 VPs are using our money, our dues paying money, listen members, to pay for some attorneys?
What I'm telling you is they were already suspended. And I see Richard Wake constantly saying the VPs are not suspended. That's a lie. No, I have the paperwork right here, Richard. The lie is in you. That's who you are, Richard. And our money is being used against us to remove the voice of the people. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, members, you hear that? Our money that we work for is being used against us. So we must stand up. We cannot let 3 people use our money for what they want. That's like somebody saying, hey, let me just snatch your purse and I'm about to go to Macy's and get me some perfume right now and you ain't got nothing to say about it.
Well, let me tell you about people. You have some good people and you got some.
Richard, can we ask, what is his name? The guy in here who's making the comments? This is private. Let him go play over there on his.
Who, Richard Wake?
So
hold on. Right, no.
To spend with you.
Right, hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm doing a Facebook Live. My Facebook page is not locked. And Richard Wake is trying to cause distractions. He's doing his job. That's who he is. But as you notice, Betty, I can do 2 or 3 things at one time. And so what they're trying to do, and the newspaper SACB will try to do the same thing, they're going to try to talk about everything other than the great job that I'm doing. And they're going to try to distract and discredit. Now, Betty, you know, when it comes to causing distractions and trying to discredit black men across this country, that's been going on since the time that the enslaved Africans have been here. So that's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. They're just doing what we know they're going to do. And that's who Richard Wake is. Now, does that mean that Richard Wake is a racist? I don't know. Does that mean that he's a little prejudiced? I don't know. Does that mean that maybe he has a personal problem with a strong black man? I don't know. But here's what I do know. That 21% pay increase across the board for everyone that we're fighting for, and I'm your chief negotiator, that will happen. When I said that we was going to get a good telework agreement, and we wasn't going to bow down and take 50 and 25, that's what I meant. And I did not bow down to the state of California because they're not our bosses. They are a 50-50 partner with us because we're a union. We're no longer a social justice organization that funnels money to the Democratic Party.
Okay, and Yolanda Williams, honey, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have cut you off like that. I apologize. I just don't know why any and everybody is always on our calls. You know, we are not invited to their calls. We never know what they're doing until they do it.
We're not. Honey, you speak on it, Betty, because she made sure that I don't get into her stuff. Hanukkah.
Exactly. And so I apologize. So go ahead and just complete what you were doing, darling. It just amazes me how everyone wants to know what we're doing, and that's how they stay a step in front of us. They think they outthinking us.
And
well, thank you, Betty. But Mr. Brown, you have answered the question, and that was policy file. Can you say that number again? 90.
I want to say it's 9.0.04. That's what I want to say.
Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. Now, so as you can see, Richard Wake continues to go on. And he'll try to say things to bait people. And so I kind of smile. But you know what? That's who he is. That's who he is. And so we'll pray for him and we'll continue on. All right, the next caller, DLC 772, President Mary Dela Cruz. Go ahead, Mary.
Good evening. Thank you for taking my call. I just have a few clarifying questions that I hope that you can help me to understand. As I was reading through the corporate code, 7812 and 7813, help me and to clarify, because according to those codes, if they're going to change the format of how this union is set up, that has to go to the vote of the members. It doesn't go to the vote of the board of directors. So that's a total violation and it's against code. So help me to understand how this is happening. I'm a little confused.
You know what? President De La Cruz, I know a lot of different things. And I'll leave it at that. See, I have a way of winning. And sometimes it doesn't look like I'm winning right away. They're determined to do this. And so let me give you an insight tidbit. Bill Hall says he's already created the chair. Bill Hall is dreaming. He's in La La Land. But he has a lot of supporters on the board that support this. Tomorrow it's all going to come out again. He's going to say, basically, I've already became the chair. Enforce the decision. Here's where the three VPs are going to have problems. Because Annika and David don't want to acknowledge the chair because then he'll be in charge. He'll be in charge. So does that mean Irene has flipped on Bill Hall? And now Irene has sold out Bill Hall? Because, we have some sellouts in the union. Some are on staff. So we don't know really what's going to happen tomorrow. We really don't. But there's going to be some confusion. And maybe they've worked out all the details and they've gotten people to flip on their stories. But here's what I do know. When people betray you, that usually isn't their first time of betraying somebody because they have the betraying spirit in them. And there are people in leadership that have the betraying spirit. They'll tell you one thing one day and tell you something different on another day. And some people in our union have the lying spirit. And I'm not trying to be judgmental. This is who they are. But when you're trying to have, quote, total tenacious togetherness, sometimes you got to throw out the bad laundry. Now, they want to throw me out of the union. And it appears that Bill Hall has the votes. See, I'm not silly. And I kind of give it to you straight. Because I can guarantee you they won't tell you, but I'll tell you who the players are. You just have to ask me. I try not to put people on spotlight. In fact, when I suspended the VPs last Friday, you said, well, Richard, why didn't you use the email and tell everybody you suspended Annika and David? Because I didn't want to embarrass them. I didn't want to do that. Even when I locked out Irene Green for running for chair, she still had access to her emails so she could continue to do work. When she went out on union business and submitted her travel claims, she got paid her money right away. But they don't tell you those things. They don't tell you how I allowed Annika to have her own call on Tuesday night, the Stewards call. Local 1000 speaks on it. They don't tell you that. And yes, they have hired people to troll on Facebook. But this is who these people are. So, we can get mad all that we want, but getting mad doesn't solve the problem of getting a high quality contract. So what we have to do, raise some money, get an effective attorney or attorneys, and we have to clean up our union. And so when I see people so emotional right now, and I think the reason why you're so emotional, because you know that I'm that real deal, and I'm going to help you. When have you had the president's number? You can call him at any time. I can normally call people back within 5 to 10 minutes when they call me, but I was getting so many calls that sometimes it would take me 2 or 3 days. But I can reassure you this, you're not going to be able to call them like that. Everything that I've done, you're going to see these VPs try to take credit for. They're going to try to act like they're the ones behind transparency when they've been copying me the whole time. Just sit back and watch them. They talk and they talk really fast. Like they got all the answers. But they don't. They don't have the answers.
May I ask one more question?
Yes.
I have reached out to our chief legal counsel Ann Giese as a board of director,
Uh-huh.
I want to ensure to be fiducially responsible to the members of SEIU. So I have reached out, her being SEIU legal counsel,
Uh-huh.
is this a legal meeting?
Right.
And the meeting's supposed to happen tomorrow. Now, she has failed to respond
So,
to me, board president.
so here now look. Here's the thing about Ann Giese. She's playing her cards. And whoever she thinks is going to win, that's who she's going to favor. And I hope, hold on, and I hope she hears this, because you're on the board of directors and you're asking her a question about the legalities of the meeting, and she refuses to answer you. So, if you decide, Mary, and hopefully, I don't know what you're going to do. You said, well, what, I'm not going to that meeting because the president said that the meeting wasn't his and he didn't call for it, so the meeting is not legal. And those are my exact words. If they have a vote tomorrow and they do anything, and you were not allowed to exercise your vote, that's discrimination. And I don't know, because I know I've talked to one president who tells me that they may file a lawsuit against Ann Giese personally.
Well, I can tell you as a board member, because I have multiple times reached out, because I know tomorrow's the day. I want, my SEIU legal counsel to give me some guidance, opinion, or whatever, but she's an attorney. And she's failed in good faith to represent me. So, and she left me no choice. I have reached out to the California Bar Association.
Right.
And because, she's failed to do her responsibilities as far as, what she has been hired to do for SEIU.
Again, when she was asked in October, she failed to respond. At least that's what I was informed by some DLC presidents about that meeting in October. But now, when they suspended me, the 3 VPs, she was quick to side with them and back them up. So she picked and chose which situations she wanted to get involved in that she thought she could win, and which situations she thought she should walk away from. That's what some lawyers do. Now, is that really ethical? Oh, I don't know. Is that how some people do in life? They're your friends when they think the sun is shining and the weather is nice. But if the weather gets bad on you, then they walk away from you. In fact, we have colleagues that we work with in our workplace. They work hard when things are going great, but things get tough, you can't find them. And that's who our chief counsel is. I want you to think about this. She sided with those VPs after she told me in a text message that she'd get right on it about sending them a reminder email. Because when we sent out the email on Friday, it went through the legal department. So she knew it went out, and she okayed it. So, again, this is all going to come out. This is all going to come out.
President Brown?
Yes.
I can't raise my hand. I've been trying, but I can't.
Okay.
I had a question for you, sir.
Yes.
So there was an email sent out by Bill Hall, and I think he said in that email that there was supposed to be a court hearing this week, and yet we haven't heard anything about this court hearing.
Okay.
Or is that another lie?
So, when Bill Hall said a court hearing this week, he was lying. He was lying. He lied on that part. He was bluffing. It was a good bluff. He had a lot of people convinced of that because he was trying to show leadership, but he's a liar. And you know what? And here's the thing. When I say a person's a liar, I'm not trying to sound negative or anything. But I'm telling you about people. He's a liar in every sense of the word. Now, some people say he's a snake. I don't know if he's a snake or not, because he told me he didn't want me around. But there is no court hearing. He never had any intention of getting this to court. Now, but what he does have an intention of doing is maintaining the status quo. Since I have become president and took over on June 30th, thank you, Pete Perez, I have worked every day to give you my very best. Remember when the governor wanted to have everyone vaccinated, even if you were outside of CDCR, outside healthcare occupations? He wanted everybody vaccinated, and we fought that off. And actually, Ann Giese actually wrote up a great brief on that. I'll give her credit on that, her respect. But that would have never happened if I wasn't your president. Did you see those vice presidents coming to task and fighting for those who didn't want to get vaccinated? Did you see that? You didn't see anything. People forget that, though. I don't. When I was catching holy hell for fighting for people to decide what to do with their bodies, I was catching hell. Now, I just saw someone send me a text. Send it to me again, Roxy Walker. She wants me to address something live. But they did not have the courage of their convictions to stand up for those who wanted to protect their bodies and control their bodies. They didn't. But yet they tell you that I'm causing this financial malfeasance. Well, wait a minute. When I sat in all those budget meetings, they weren't telling me that. They weren't saying that, Richard, you're causing a financial malfeasance. David Jimenez. And I know how those decisions were made about paying off the building, the $6.3 million to pay off the building. See, people are slick. And people have a hard time being slick standing next to me because I expose people. Listen, if the VPs had ever said to me, we want to do a video with you, I'm like, well, come on, let's do one. Because you know I'm not afraid to do videos. But when they suspended me, they had to convince you, they had to con you, to manipulate you to believe that they're all three united. Well, if they were all three united, then why didn't they all go to that board meeting in October and support Bill Hall? And even Irene tried to beat Bill Hall, and she lost to Bill Hall. So what's the problem here? Well, let's go back in the past for a second, in this last election, because the last election has a lot to do with what's going on now. They said, how the hell did Richard win? Well, because the other two groups couldn't work together. They were fighting each other. Yvonne and Miguel had their breaking up. So Miguel took people with him, and that broke up Yvonne's crew. Then Sophia and Tony, they had a falling out or whatever. MTC couldn't work together. So those two groups broke out. And those two became they became four. The number 4. Okay? But no one broke out for me because I've been honest and sincere from the very beginning. If Yvonne and Miguel Cordova had just kept their group together, they probably would have won. Maybe. If Sophia could have kept the group together and Tony wouldn't have left because they didn't want Tony to run for president because he's a black man. But he didn't know that at the time, but he knows now. If they had kept their group together, maybe they would have won. But their lack of love for the union, their lack of love for themselves, and giving out the very best to help not just our dues-paying members, but our represented employees so that they'll be encouraged to become dues-paying members so that we all can become, quote, one family. They didn't want to do that. And so when I tell you I've been sent here on a mission and I have this gift, and right now you say, well, I can't tell if God's with you or not because you're going through hell right now, Richard. Well, yes. Have you lost faith? No. Am I sad? No. But I'm disappointed because, as Derek said so, he said it with such passion. We're losing time. You can't get time back. And that's, that's really the frustrating thing about this. Because people know that I'm sincere. And so we see someone who's sincere, who's fighting for you, and then they're trying to remove him from office for all these things that they claim that he's doing wrong. Remember they said that Lansing rally was wrong? Well, what about the people in Lansing County? Those people who are fighting to keep their jobs and keep their community. What about the fact that, I didn't tell you this part, they're not just trying to close CCC, the California Correctional Center. They're trying to close High Desert as well. But you didn't know that until now. And I knew that in my gut when they were contacting me then. I said, they knocked that one prison down, then they'll knock the other one down. Because they don't care about, and I'm just going to be politically incorrect on Friday night. They don't care about white people, rural white people, in small little country towns. Not just in California, but all across America. The same way they don't care about black folks in the city, in the inner cities. They don't give a damn. They just use us and they use us and they abuse us. And they keep us racially divided. They keep us culturally divided because there's money involved when you keep people divided. That's what they do. You're not going to hear the VPs tell you that for their, quote, social justice, because they're going to keep doing the same thing that they've been taught out of a book, out of what they've been taught from prior leadership. So it doesn't matter if it's Yvonne Walker. They're going to still carry out her mindset. I don't. And you know that. I'm asking everyone tonight. I see you, Susan Rodriguez, bunk chair one. I see you. I'm asking everyone tonight to not lose hope, to not give up their membership. You know, I have to raise money for an attorney. I've asked people to give out $100. You can cash app me. Send it to a cash app. If you want to send a money order in the mail, that's fine. We're going to fight all this nonsense. We're going to fight this. And, you know, when we did the essential worker premium pay petitions, did those DLC presidents really fight hard to push that? These DLC presidents who are against me, these bunk chairs who are against me, did they fight hard to make sure all their people filled out the essential worker premium pay petition? Did they? No, they didn't. And we still pulled down 17,000. But they weren't supporting that, even though it was done to help you, to recognize you for all that you've done. But they didn't care. They didn't care about you. And they sit and they it's almost like this, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They sit in these high seats and they look down on you. And they act like they're so pious. Then a person like me shows up who's, you know, different, more passionate, more in your face. But I'm the realest leader you'll ever have in Local 1000 history. Now, we can't give up. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, I'm just going to stop my membership. If you stop your membership, you're playing right into their hands. All those who stopped their membership, I'm asking you to come back and sign back up again. Thanks, Trish Marie, for putting my thing up there. Thank you. Please come back and sign back up. Now, look, I know people are saying, Richard, you can say that all that you want. If they remove you from office, Richard, I'm gone. Here's what I will say. You're an American, and I know how American people can act. When they get emotional and they're upset, and you messing with their vote, when you're messing with their vote, then sometimes they will leave. I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay strong. Now, some people say, well, what if we just take our money and send it to you? All right. Some people say, well, I don't want my money used on politics, Richard. And I know if they remove you, Richard, they will use my money on politics. I told you this during my campaign. I told you this when I got elected. You can send a membership declaration letter telling them to not use any of your money on politics. And then make them send you an annual letter like they used to do the old Hudson letter. Make them send you an annual letter saying that they didn't use any of your money on politics. And here's the thing. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Yeah, but hold on. Mute that person, please. Here's the thing. And I'm going to take Myrna Lim up. She has my number. Myrna Lim knows what I'm going through. If they use your money on politics, after you sent your membership declaration letter in, you know if they do that, they violated their agreement with you. And you can take action against them for doing that. See, a lot of people think if I pay money to Local 1000, I can't stop them from spending money on politics. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right. I'm going to go to Gerald, and then I'll come back to Derek. So please unmute Gerald Douglas, please. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, President Brown. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Good. I agree with what you're saying, and you're right about membership. We'll fall right into their hands. We just quit our membership. You're right about that. I raised my hand earlier. I was going to say something, but Evie's unable to raise her hand. So I raised it for her so she can get on and speak.
Okay.
JD, go ahead and speak. I'll speak after you.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, so I had two things, President Brown. So I heard on one of their calls that you did not work with the three VPs. Can you elaborate on what you did to try to bridge the gap with the different factions?
Sure. So one of the first things I did is I put them on full-time union leave, even though I put them on full-time union leave as special projects because the policy file says they only get 1 week a month. So all three VPs, well, the first two did, and then when Irene won, she got full-time union leave. And not just for a month, they got it for the whole term. People forget that. I'm glad you brought that up. I gave them full-time union leave for the whole term, along with their credit cards, with no restrictions on their credit cards. As we all know, that Tuesday night call came through me. Annika asked me one day, hey, can I do a steward's call on Tuesday night? Now, the steward call was on Wednesday night, but we changed the name to Welcome 1000 Listens to You. So it wasn't just about stewards, it was about everybody. Dues paying members represent employees as well. So that we could encourage the represented employees to become dues paying members. So I said, sure. Hold on. So I said, sure. I allowed her to do her Tuesday night call. Then you say, well, what else did you do to work with the VPs? When David, Secretary Treasurer, would do his budget committee meetings, I made sure that I gave him his utmost respect. And they took votes on things that I said I'm going to stay out of because I don't want to influence the vote. When they wanted to take trips, I did that. In fact, you know what, Evie, I'm glad you asked that question because I've been saying that our union should not be involved in social justice issues, and I mean that. But I allowed Annika's friend, DOC 787 President Ruth Albera, to use our building for her social justice issues on a couple different weekends. But Annika doesn't tell you that part. No, she doesn't. And when Irene got sworn in, I said Irene should have been sworn in from the very beginning. But they don't tell you that part. And when she said, I want the former president, Yvonne Walker, to swear me in, I said, that's fine. Because I'm not petty and I'm not insecure. And even though I know that, Yvonne and I have different opinions on how to run a union, I don't have anything personally, I don't have no personal vendetta against Yvonne. And to be honest, I don't think she has a personal vendetta against me. So when the VP said I didn't try to do anything to work with them, listen, Annika and David said repeatedly that they didn't trust Irene. But Irene didn't trust them. In fact, when we had our first executive committee meeting before we was even sworn in, they were all trying to gang up on me. And I want y'all to remember this. We had that meeting sometime in early June, and I said, let's not talk so quick about having these executive committee meetings because we ain't past the protest period. We don't know what's going to happen. And sure enough, Irene had to run again and win again a second time. And you know what they ganged up on me, those three VPs? They wanted to establish their own work schedules. And they said, we want to work from home, Richard. God, I didn't even tell you this. We want to work from home when we want to. We want to come to work when we want to. And I laughed because it was three of them and one of me. And I said, well, do I have a choice? And they laughed too. And I said, well, listen, I'm for telework. I'm not just for telework as lip service like many of our people in our union are. I'm for telework for everyone. And I said, yes, you can telework. You come to work when you want to. You work from home when you want to. I will not question you. But the three VPs don't tell you this. So now they've all turned against me, but they were never for me from the very beginning. They were just waiting for the right time to try to run me out of office. That's what they were doing. Now, I did something else for Annika and David too. I don't want to say it right now, but it's going to come out. It's going to come out. All right. What was your second thing, Evie?
I just wanted to make a statement, President Brown. So I know not everybody agrees on every issue. I am on the COPE committee, and I'm going to tell you why. I do believe that political money matters. But I believe that the way our union has been using our political money has been ineffective and probably illegal, but that's just my opinion. I think that what really comes down to is because money's power in certain people's eyes, so we have to utilize that power in the right way. Instead of just giving it away without, like you said, constantly giving them a blank check, we need to make sure, I believe, we need to make sure that we're always spending our money correctly. So those that support us in the right way, we support them because they will continue to support us. That's the way it should be. I think for me, I believe that's the way our political power should be utilized.
So,
Thank you, sir.
well, thank you. And let me respond to that, because a lot of people feel that way. I feel differently. As long as you're giving politicians money, you're not going to win. A union's ability to win is not through politics, it's through their ability to strike. Because in our union, we have Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Green Party. It's all divided out. And if you give money to one politician who's a Democrat, you're going to alienate your Republicans. And if you give money to Gavin Newsom, I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you. Woo! Boy, a lot of folks ain't going to like that. I'm just being honest. So, a lot of people feel like Evie, that politics, does matter. But, it's funny because if politics was mattered that much, then why'd you lose money under a signed contract with a labor-friendly governor named Gavin Newsom and Jerry Brown? If politics mattered that much. Now, I'm just saying. But before I go to the next hand raise, Christina Christina, you asked who did David and Annika want to win for presidency? And Trisha said it was Sophia Perkins. Well, Trisha, you're correct. They wanted Sophia Perkins to win the presidency. So people say, well, what happened to Sophia Perkins? Did she go back to work? Did she retire? What happened to Sophia Perkins? Does anybody know? Let's see if somebody raises their hand or put it up in the Facebook. What happened to Sophia Perkins? Let's see if somebody has that answer. Okay, go ahead, Mary Dela Cruz. Maybe you have the answer. I see your hand raised.
Hi, thank you. Well, to my knowledge, she got hired on as staff to SCIU and is retired state service.
So, it's funny that you say that, Mary, that Sophia was hired on. Who hired her? Who approved that hire?
I believe you did, President Brown.
Wow. So we're a member-ran union, a person who was a bunk chair for, I believe, 2 different contracts, who gave her life to the union, and then she retired. She was able to get employment with the union for a second retirement. That's funny. And her and I were competitors for the same presidency for 2 straight elections. That's funny. And then she gets hired by the union. That's funny. Did David and Annika tell you that part?
It speaks to your character.
It speaks to my character. Well, I would say so. But it's funny because, Richard Wake, if Sophia Perkins was all that great, she would have done far better than the 27% rate at her work site. Okay, Richard. So I guess Richard doesn't care for Sophia Perkins. That's fine. We all have opinions. But here's what I do know. I don't remember David and Annika talking about that part. All right, next caller, Christina. Please go ahead.
Hi, Richard.
Hi.
Hey, I really want things to go your way, but unfortunately things are so complicated right now, and I know there is a meeting tomorrow. So, I just want to be practical and logical about, what's really going to happen.
Okay.
So I work in legal. I work at the Attorney General's office, and I know things take forever in court.
That's right.
So tomorrow's meeting, I think it's going to be closed. We're really not going to know what's going on. But what would be the best case scenario for the members? Would it be for the 3 vice presidents to have to unanimously make decisions for us until we can vote again in 3 years, or until the court hearings and everything is done and you get put back in as president?
Okay.
So I'm just really logically and realistically trying to figure out what's going to happen. I don't want Bill Hall in there. I've seen him, I've heard him, and I think he's just an Yvonne Walker follower, and people voted you in because they're tired of Yvonne Walker. So if the board of directors meet tomorrow, say they have to make some kind of vote as a temporary person,
Right.
what would you tell those board of directors who don't want Yvonne Walker followers?
Here's what I would.
What should they do tomorrow?
Here's what I would tell you, Christina. I would tell people that going to that meeting, they're going to an illegal meeting. And I sent out an email telling them that anybody that goes to that meeting will get suspended. Because I didn't call that meeting, and that meeting is causing dissension, and it's causing distrust, and we're losing membership because of that meeting. That's what I would tell the people going to that meeting tomorrow. So then you would say, well, outside of that, what would you say? Should it be the 3 VPs or should it be Bill Hall? Oh, boy.
Should be Richard Brown.
Well, absolutely. But if Richard Lewis Brown was to fall off into the ocean, would I give my support to the 3 VPs to run the union as a group, or would I give it to Bill Hall? That's the question a lot of people want to know. I've been waiting on that question. Some people will tell you, we don't like you and we want you gone. Those people are called Bill Hall and Irene Green and that whole crew. Kevin Healy, Pam Castro, Monica Blancarty that called me the MFer, Denise Quinn Allen that told me what a dick, Teresa Taylor told me to suck a dick, but her daughter Anna Marie Taylor told me to eat a dick. So I guess dick runs in the family for them. But they tell me up front, we don't want you around. And you know what? I respect that. Because they're not lying in my face. Now, Annika and David and the NTC people, they tell you that they weren't against me and they tried to work with me, but that's a lie. And they smile and they act like everything is so nice and so perfect, but they're liars. They tell you that they tried to work with me, but they don't tell you, but when things didn't go their way, her and David would come in and try to bully me to do things the way they wanted. And if I didn't do it the way they wanted, then they'd run to Irene. They don't tell you that part. So, do I go to 3 VPs when Irene's not part of the 3 VPs? She's part of Bill Hall. She doesn't trust Annika. And I hope they hear me. I hope the people go back and tell them. Because I'm not lying. Annika does not trust Irene, and Irene definitely doesn't trust Annika. And David is just tied into what Annika does. That's what it is. You say, well, if you were gone, Richard, who would we go with? The 3 VPs, or really just the 2 VPs and Irene on the side? Or do we go with Bill Hall and continue the status quo as before? Here's the problem. And this is a big problem. And this is what I was trying to tell people. If you go with the status quo before, you know what to expect. You don't know what to expect with Annika and David because they don't know what they're doing. At least with Bill and Teresa and them, they got some experience. All they have to do is call Yvonne, bring Yvonne back. Then you don't have to worry about anything because you know what you've had before. You continue to lose money. You won't get a good contract. And, blah, blah, blah. You say, well, then we should take a chance on David and Annika. You don't want to take a chance on either one of those two groups. Because with David and Annika, they do everything by a little committee. Nothing will get done. Because they got people pulling their strings. And then you're going to see the real David and the real Annika come out. And you're going to see that they're not unified because they weren't unified as MTC. When they were trying to replace Kevin Miniger when they were running, when they ran in 2021, Sophia was trying to replace Kevin Miniger. Well, how do I know? Because I know I was the person that she wanted me to replace him. And then I found out that somebody else was trying to replace Kevin Miniger on that slate. So these people are not trustworthy people. They're not. And they can act nice on camera and, I say use beautiful words, but you can't trust these people. So you say, what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is to keep what you had. Keep the person that was voted in. That's your worst case scenario. And that's Richard Lewis Brown. That's your worst case scenario. Tomorrow, if you're asking me my prediction for tomorrow, I don't know because they're all scrambling tonight. They're probably watching this video. Here's what I would say. Bill Hall wants to be recognized as chair. He wants that meeting from October to be recognized. Annika and David do not, because if he gets recognized as chair, then their ability to seize power is over. So now they got to beg Irene to beg Bill to not be recognized as chair and let it go. But Bill's carrying more votes than David and Annika with their MTC crew. So Bill's carrying the votes. He says, well, hey, if I'm carrying the votes, I'm carrying Trump. Well, the problem with that is the chief counsel, Ann Giese, has hitched her wagon to Annika and David, hoping that they can work with Irene. So you say, well, Richard, this is a whole lot of hoopla. Yes. You're seeing reality TV. You're seeing Washington, D.C. in your face live. That's what you're seeing, unfortunately. You don't have to watch this stuff on TV. It's happening right in front of you. You say, well, are you sure, Richard? I'm absolutely 1,000% sure. Because I know how Annika and David talked about Irene. I know how they talked about her. They know too. And you know Bill and Teresa doesn't trust Annika and David. Because Teresa Taylor is on the CalPERS board as the president. Well, Teresa Taylor can't stand... Hold on a second. No.
Join the meeting.
Hold on. Teresa Taylor can't stand my chief of staff, who's still the chief of staff, Donna Snodgrass. They have issues. See, remember they were talking about that CalPERS stuff and why Richard do all that, and Richard was out of line, and that lawsuit that Bill Hall filed against me is talking about that CalPERS. All that was Donna Snodgrass. People know that, though. Okay? People know that. But, we were just trying to offer more information about the CalPERS. So if you say, well, how is this all going to work out? Is Teresa Taylor going to be able to get along with Donna Snodgrass? Well, maybe they've already made peace. Because when Teresa Taylor told me to suck a dick, Donna Snodgrass didn't say anything. She just said, yeah. She didn't stand to defend me. No. See, it's Friday night. Let's talk about it. I'm giving you all this information because what they're going to do after I've told the truth, they're going to try to spin it. Now listen, if Donna and Teresa can spin it and they can work together and they can get Bill and Irene to agree to let the VPs run it, okay. And that's going to help grow our union and grow the membership again, even though they've taken away the voice of the members by removing me? Well, maybe. But I don't think so. Because there's more stuff coming. There's a lot more coming, and it's going to get revealed. It's going to get revealed. And so they want to be involved in all this social justice politics that favor the Democratic Party. That's funny that they say that, because your chief of staff ain't no Democrat. She ain't for all that. And now I'm hearing that they want to take the union and go back to organizing again versus being representation. Because remember where that idea came from. Let me tell you something. A lot of stuff's going to come out. And they can keep trying to talk and trying to destroy me all that they want. But one day we'll be in court, most likely. Unless, well, look, Bill Hall may withdraw his lawsuit. I don't know. If Bill Hall becomes chair, he may withdraw his lawsuit. I don't know. I just don't know. And, I see someone putting the phrase in there, forgive and forget is not in the Bible. Forgiveness is. When you truly forgive somebody, then you forget about what they did. Then some people say, well, no, it doesn't work like that. We'll see who gets to the afterlife and who doesn't. That's all I have to say about that. All right. Derek, go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, that was, whew. You scared me then. We started talking about worst case scenarios, Mr. President.
Oh, I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
I know.
I'm not done.
I had a worst case scenario thought, and I didn't add this to my comments I made earlier. I want everyone to think about this. Just close your eyes and think about this for a moment. The VP, who is currently writing emails and going on Facebook and saying that they're acting president, which they're not. Okay, then you got this other VP, Walls, who, look, I'm just going to say it. And this is no disrespect towards her, but I'm just going to come out and bluntly say it right now. We're supposed to be a union of leaders, leadership. VP Walls, and I'm sorry, Yolanda, I know you're next. I got to come out and say something right now. You want to talk about innovation, ingenuity, creativity? President Brown has given us nothing but that. We haven't even got to fully fulfill this 10-point platform, which is going to give us and bring us the biggest and most exciting innovation ever. And we can't fulfill that because they're afraid of that. Let me tell you why. Close your eyes and think about this. Worst case scenario, VP Walls trying to become a president of our union. Do you realize there's a reason why? Just think about this, guys. How many of you guys have known VP Walls for over 4 years, 5 years? I have. There's a reason why the former president never gave her camera time, microphone time, any time. There's a reason why. She's not, in her heart and soul, she knows it. She's not a leader. She's a follower. A follower. Look at what she did to poor Yolanda Williams' idea. I heard her on that call saying, she's taking credit for the premium pay petitions. You know what, guys? That offends me too, and this is why I'm talking about this. Because it was Yolanda's ingenuity up here that came up with that. And when I heard her coming up with that creativity in her mind, and her creative mind, I saw a picture. And I went home that night and got 2 hours of sleep. And I developed and designed the first copy of that petition that came out. I'm not taking credit.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
And I did that for, guess how much, guys? $0. Because I have so much passion and love for our future, for what we stand for. And you know what? Just the thought of her possibly, and this is worst case scenario, possibly being our president one day, our leadership is gone. We're going to become a bunch of followers, just like they are for Bill Hall. We're going to be slaves to the machine for the rest of our lives. I don't know about you guys, but my culture, my people came out of bondage thousands of years ago. And I'm not going to get religious on you tonight. I'm not having this shit in the future. We're going to be free as free can be, okay? We're going to be free thinkers. We're going to be free men and women. And we're going to keep marching forward. Mark my words. I am not going to let the machine take us down this time. I've been fighting my whole life, and I'm going to continue to fight for you guys. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're very welcome. And he talks about his people being slaves years and years ago. You know, when they suspended me on February 27th, and I got the email, I guess on the 28th, the last 2 days of Black History Month. See, I keep telling y'all, this is a, quote, local lynching and a carefully crafted castration of an American black man. That's what this is. And people don't like when I bring up race, but no, we know what time it is. When you see people religiously coming at me at Facebook and never stopping, and yeah, they're doing their job, they're doing it well. But even white people know at a certain point, hey, hold on a second. What's really going on? Even when I was working with the chief of staff, she had said it. But a lot of stuff is going to come out, and we're not going to stop. They want me to just walk away. And that's why they took the attorneys away from me. And they knew when they took the attorneys away on Monday that I wouldn't have time to find another attorney to stop this meeting from happening. That was a good move on their part. See, when this video was done, they'll say all the things that upset them, but when I gave them credit for their good moves, they won't talk about that. They won't talk about that. And so, you see people on Facebook constantly trying to destroy me and say all kinds of things. And here's the funny thing. They think that they can make me angry. When I had to set people straight, then they said that, I was angry. And then when I stay real calm and just talk matter of fact, then they say, well, we don't trust him. We don't believe what he's saying. All right, Yolanda Williams.
Hi, Richard, this is off topic right now.
Okay.
I talked to you probably a couple weeks in February, I think the middle part, in regards to my application. Because now I see all this lady's, what's her name? Sophia Perkins. But
Okay.
I was curious. You never got back to me, and I just wanted to know, did you ever talk to them in regards to why I never got any type of response?
The response to what part?
The application. Because you put everybody knows what jobs are available and what
Right.
SEI
No,
is,
they did not. I'm trying to remember.
And I asked you, I said,
Yeah, they didn't
my
get.
application.
Yeah, they did not get back with me on that. I'm trying to remember that exactly. I know what you're saying. They didn't get back with me on that.
Okay. But
Yeah.
they hired somebody that they knew.
No, because all the hiring was decided by me. So no, that's not true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So still no answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious of why nobody responds when people apply. You should reply. Something. Sorry you didn't make it, or
Right.
sorry whatever. But they hurry up and make sure that I wasn't on that training. I see that.
Well, that membership training that you were supposed to be part of, that I put you on to help grow membership, they took you off on Monday or Tuesday.
No,
So
that was Annika. She took me off.
that was Annika or David? Which one was it?
Well, it was David who sent the letter, but
Okay.
I know Annika's behind it.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
All right.
I would. I think on that one they were both pretty.
They both was on it.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, this is really sad. That's all I can say with all this going back and forth and all this different. That's why people are getting discouraged. But I would say to everybody, we just need to buckle up and be ready for the fight. Even though whatever they're gonna do on Saturday, that we still can do what we do, and it can be changed around. So don't let them. They think they gonna get comfortable, but only one person can change the show, and that's the man upstairs.
So let's talk about this for a second, about Saturday. The meeting starts at 9, the general session. We don't know how long that's going to go. And you know what? Bill Hall may try to rush it in and say, hey, I want to vote on what happened in October. I want to vote if that's going to be upheld right now. That may happen right then. Now here's the funny thing. And I hope the board is listening. If he does that, and he's recognized as chair, he takes over the meeting. And so right now that meeting was called by the VPs, but I believe David's probably going to chair the meeting. Now the parliamentarian Scott Burns will make sure everything gets done right. But it's going to be very interesting how that goes. Now, they say they'll put it up on Facebook. Maybe they will. Because remember, that idea comes from me. If he becomes chair and then all the powers are given to him, the meeting's illegal. It won't be upheld in court. But they think by the attorney that he's working with that it will. Well, one attorney will tell you one thing, another attorney will tell you something else through the interpretation of the California Corporations Code. We will go to court and find out. Now, some people say that he'll pull that and let the VPs run it. Maybe. But whoever's carrying the most votes in that meeting is going to be the one who tries to dictate the pace. When they try to suspend me tomorrow, well, there's going to be a problem with that. maybe they'll keep the suspension going a little bit longer until they can have a, blah, blah, blah. There's going to be some problems. The number one thing is, why are they trying to run me out of office? If people are not inspired now, then I don't know what's going to take to inspire you. So I see Richard Wake saying the power does not go to Bill Hall, the power goes to the board. No, that's not true. See, this is another. Look at what they. This is all going to come out. What they've done is they've lined through all the powers of the president and given it to the chair. But Richard Wake doesn't read. He has a problem with reading or something. I'm not for sure. But see, they get on Facebook and they just lie and they lie and they lie. And eventually, as Derek said, they're going to run out of time. And see, I'm glad that Joshua Giles said that, the board. See, when you put the power in the hands of a few people on the board, you don't have a union. You have a corporation. This is why I never liked that we were incorporated. And remember we do those PowerPoints and I said 33 people ran unopposed? And Bill Hall ran unopposed. A lot of these people doing all this talking ran unopposed. They didn't get any votes. So when they say they're speaking for their membership, no, they're not. They're not speaking for nobody but themselves. That's selfishness. And people know this. And so, when Richard Wake says, oh, okay, we know the power goes to the board, all 65 members. Well, I'm part of the board, Richard. I'm part of the board, Richard Wake. I'm the president of the board. So, people will continue these attacks. All because I enforced the contract. Starting with the COVID, the pandemic issue. They didn't like that. They wanted, if I hadn't been elected, I can guarantee you whoever else would have won, you've been vaccinated. I'll put it all on that. Not right now, you are not. You are suspended. See, this is the intelligence of Monica Johnson. No, I'm not suspended. And even if I was suspended, I still stay on the board. To remove me from the board, you got to go through the courts, Monica Johnson. But that's her intelligence level. Thank you, Stephen. I won't lose faith. And so now this says Bill Hall is the chair, Richard Wake. So continue to watch people in chat here, and you'll see their education level. And some people may have a college degree, but that doesn't mean that they have intelligence. It really doesn't. And so you'll see people trying to attack me, and they'll say everything, about nothing that has to do with the union about me. And you'll see the newspapers and everybody else kind of, that's how you can tell if the newspaper is unbiased or if they're pulling for a side or not. And we know from the SAC-B how they've written about me that they want me gone too. So it's really unfortunate. So Monica Johnson says, you said you were suspended. No, they think that they've suspended me. They think that they're successful in suspending me, but they're already suspended. And I'm willing to bet you that Monica Johnson, that's not your real name. I'm willing to bet you it's not Monica Johnson. So, I'm trying to educate people because when they send these emails out to all the membership, on the emails they have, they're trying to persuade you to think a certain way. So, I find it ironic because, like I said, they say that I'm suspended, but I'm not because I suspended them first, and they locked me out of the building. It's a shame that our union is going through this. And if I'm the state of California, who do you recognize as the president? I mean, do you think it's the VPs or Bill Hall? I'm the president of Local 1000. That's a promise. And I'm going to serve my term too. Now, is it going to be tough? Yes, it will be. They're trying to remove me. They're trying to basically kick me out of the union altogether and then get me off the board too. And, it's interesting. Why? You have to ask yourself something. Why are they so determined to remove me from office? Go ahead, Gerald.
I just wanted to say a few things. so everybody's aware, I've been in the union I've been 31 years. We were CSCA before. But I've been through the stipends when that happened. We used to have receiving emails. That stopped. Emails to our state email address. That stopped. Stipends came. I was at a meeting and a lady brought up the issue on stipends, and Yvonne said, we're not going to have no more stipends. We're not going to discuss stipends. And someone took the mic from her and escorted her out of the room. So this is what we're going to get if these VPs and Irene Green and them get into office, that we're going to get more of the same. We won't be getting a 21% fight at the bargaining table. We won't be able to go on strike. So what's a union if you can't go on strike? The transparency won't be there like it wasn't before, like Richard brought to us. He's been fighting. They don't want to say all the things that he has done along the way. Only in 8 months, he's got a lot accomplished against all the odds. What will happen? Well, what happened with the text? I'm a Deaver for Unit 11. Been fighting for like the last 4 contracts just to get a fair pay what other engineering technicians throughout the cities and counties in California earn. And during that fight, we raised membership extremely high. We attacked Cal HR. We attacked our management like the union told us to do. Well, we found out once we voted no against the contract, because we weren't getting anything in the contract. Our bargaining unit chair, James Willis, won't even give us a JLMC. You would think over all these years of us fighting and for what we deserve, we came up with a documentation classification report to prove on paper. But I was told, oh, that doesn't mean anything, by one of the Kool-Aid drinkers that was a Deaver 11 that didn't care about us, obviously. He was out for himself because he was on union leave for about 10 years, wasting money. Like I know a lot of others do, but I'll stick to Unit 11 on what I know.
Okay.
So we flipped the vote. We want to go back to the table and prove what we deserve. After all the years of fighting and organizing, bringing in membership throughout the whole state, out of the 12 districts. And we find out that they want to do a revote because I guess we weren't intelligent enough to understand the contract. We didn't know anything about inflation, things like that. And this revote was a sham. Gerrymandering and all these things you hear about in the South that they do about voting is exactly what happened. We show up at a place, one lady told me she had to drive an hour to go vote, and she gets there and they said, oh no, we're not having that today. They had the dates all mixed up. We were getting harassed. People, my text, were calling me from Oakland, other areas, saying they're getting harassed, called at work, saying you better vote yes. All kinds of stuff was happening that I don't know if people knew about all this. But this is what we're going to get if they get back in office. I mean, it's just, what's the use of even being a member to the union if they're in office other than to get inside and fight like we did and get what you deserve? I mean, who would put up that much of a fight year after year if you don't feel in your heart that's what you deserve just as a salary? I don't want to be on union leave for 10, 15 years to go eat and get fat and, be happy. That's not what I'm in it for, and what none of the engineering techs are in it for. Well, a couple are. I won't say their names. One's on the bump now, and one just got kicked out of the DLC. Well, I won't say kicked out. He didn't do what he was supposed to and thought he could just not do procedure and still get along with what he had been in the last 10 years. But I just want to just throw that out there that if we let them get back in office, we won't get our 21% increase fight and a lot of things that on the 10-point plan that President Brown has for us. And this other guy named Richard, please, you guys don't even use his first name anymore. He doesn't even deserve this Quake guy. Call him whatever you want to call him, Quake or his last name. Don't disrespect our president even using guy's first name again. But I'll just go ahead and get off this call. But I appreciate you, President Brown.
You're very welcome. And I'm going to come back to that. Let's go right to Christina.
Hi again. So you said earlier that you weren't sure why they didn't want you as president. So I don't want to mention any names, but I talked to someone in the very beginning after you were elected, and I asked them, are you going to work with Richard? And I got no response. Do you support Richard? I got no response. Right after you got elected, I was so excited. And I was like, okay. Then I talked to this person, and they're like, well, things are happening. And I'm like, well, what do you mean things are happening? Well, what if Richard, wasn't the president anymore? And I said, well, what do you mean? Well, what if he was voted out or something? And I said, well, I don't want Yvonne Walker back. I don't want that. And they're like, oh, well, she's moved on, so we would take a vote. And I said, listen, from everything I hear about Richard and see, he wants the same things that I want. And I want to be really honest with you. I'm a really honest person, and I do say things in love. And they said some negative things about your personality, your speaking. And I said, you know what?
Wait.
So
They said some negative stuff about my personality when I'm speaking?
Yeah, when you go on Wednesday nights,
Okay.
You're a very passionate person, and I'm Italian, so I get it.
Okay.
And but some people get overwhelmed by passionate people. It's kind of scary for some people. It's they see it as a little bit over the top. And I defended you, and I said, you know what? So what? He's a little different. We're all different. We all have quirks. We all have pros. We all have cons. The bottom line is, I agree with what he wants for our union members as a whole. That's all that matters to me. It's just like Trump, right? I don't want to be his friend. I don't want to go out to lunch with a man. But I personally voted for that person because he aligned with what I wanted for me and my family financially. And you, as our president, we want the same thing financially. I don't care what you do in your private life. That does not affect me. That has nothing to do with a union member. You're my president. You help us get more money for our families. You help us have a safe work environment and dignity, and that's all that matters. Okay, so these are the things that they listed of why they wanted you out. And so they said in the very beginning that you were not following procedures. You weren't working with the board. So me personally, as a union member, this is what I thought. Okay, so he's new. He's learning his job. Just like anybody, when they get a new job, you got to figure it out. Usually there's a 6-month learning curve, right?
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
When they say I wasn't following procedures of the board, they want to have a board meeting to strip me of all my presidential powers. That's what they're saying.
No, before that.
No. When they tell you I wasn't following procedures, they had every intention of stripping me of all my presidential powers immediately. That's what they're not telling you.
Okay.
That's what they're not telling you. But they sell it to you in a very subtle, sly way. They never had any intention on ever working with me, period. If you understand that part, now you have your foundation set. Now you can go up from there. But that's what that means. Yeah.
Yes, so this was before that happened.
No.
Yeah.
Hold on. The minute they announced on May 24th I won the election, they went into their preparations to remove me from office right then. So they started saying all these things, saying that he's not following procedures. That means I didn't call a meeting for them to rush, do an agenda item to strip me of all the presidential powers. That's what that means. That's the translation for that.
Okay, so I absolutely know this, but I work in legal.
Okay.
And so the thing is that we can only go what's in the legal pleadings.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Even though we know in our heart everything that happens, everything, we have to go by what is written in the legal brief.
Okay.
When you are fighting for yourself in court, it doesn't matter what you say. It's what's in the legal brief. to prove everything in writing. So then they were saying that you were making decisions and you bypassed the rules. Like, I don't know what the rules are.
So hold on, wait. Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
Because what I'm trying to get you to understand is when someone says they're not going to work with you, you're seeing the dark chocolate Barack Obama. No matter what he did, they said he wasn't doing something right. So if you look at him, you're seeing him now. I'm just not good looking like him.
Yeah.
So when they say that I wasn't doing things correctly by going through the board for their permission, Yvonne Walker did not go through the board when she ran the day-to-day operations of Local 1000.
I know, and you know,
Okay.
Richard, I am so on your side. I am
Yeah.
so on your side. But I'm telling you,
That's what they're
like,
saying.
Write a legal brief.
Right.
When they write their legal brief,
Okay.
this is what they're going to say in their legal brief. Even though we know they, as soon as you got elected, they wanted you out. But when you respond to a legal brief, these are the things that they're going to put in writing,
Right.
even though they're not true.
Right, I understand
You have
that.
to respond in writing. That's what I'm telling you.
So what I'm saying to you, Christina, is
Yeah.
I will find an attorney and we'll get that done.
Yeah, I want you to win this.
Well, listen. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And to be quite honest with you, if me losing in court, if that's how it happens, regardless of how the brief is written, because I know a lot of innocent black men who's gone to jail for things they didn't do, and they had good lawyers. So it's just if that's how it is. If I go to court and I lose, then I'll accept that as I lost, but God is still in control. I'll take the loss and I'll go on with my life. But I'm not afraid to lose. So, I had attorneys advising me on doing this and doing that, and they were giving me the wrong advice. And, hold on, Christina. I don't want you to leave for a second. Harry Price is saying stuff. He says, people have to be savvy about union matters and state law. You know what that is? That's a political answer. He wants you to be involved in politics and continue the status quo. Then he says, defying the factions, they're going to stonewall me. Defying the factions within the board of directors. And there are factions on the board of directors. Listen to this. I did not get elected by not one vote on the board of directors. I got elected by the membership, not by no board. So when they say, no, you answer to us, we're the board. There's your problem right there. It's their psyche. They're elitist, arrogant. It's our way or the highway psyche. I got elected on a 10-point platform, and 33 of these 65 people on the board did not get any votes from no one. Yet they tell you I'm the problem. No, they're the problem. Because they're not representing membership. They're not even representing employees. Now, I hear Harry Price is negotiating what you want is the only way out at this time. Now, Harry, I wish you would come on Zoom. I like to talk to Harry in front of all of you. Because a lot of people feel like Harry Price. And you know what? This is where people sell people out. Well, you got to negotiate to save yourself. No, I don't. I'm staying true to my platform. I'm staying true to what I said I was going to do. And I'm not letting no one break me. And if they mean breaking me means they have to remove me from the union, then that's what they'll have to do. Remove me from the union. Do what you have to do, but you're not breaking me. And just like I fought to ensure that people who didn't want to get vaccinated, who were outside the CDCR, who were outside the healthcare occupations, did not have to get vaccinated, that's what I did. And I did not break. When they told me, don't go up to Lassen County and fight for the people in Lassen County, nope, I went up anyway. No, it is about breaking, Harry. So, Christina, I hear what you're saying, and I heard other people tell me the same thing. You know what, Christina? You may have to write my legal brief. You may have to write down everything that you see me going through and then send it to me. And that way, that when I do find an attorney, I can send them stuff. because there are a lot of smart people in our union that can help me with this. And I know deep in my heart, we have to raise this money to find a good attorney. When I know we have attorneys in this union, people who have the legal mindset in this union that can do all this writing for me and get this done. I know it. Now, anybody who's calling in on Zoom, if we don't recognize your, you have to put your name on the number. If we don't see your name, we can't let you in. My computer doesn't have a microphone or camera. So what number are you calling from, Harry? Type that in there so we can see what number you're calling from. So let's see if Harry types his number in. So if we see you come across, then we'll let you in, Harry Price. Because he's saying my computer doesn't have a microphone or camera. I just created an account in Zoom and I'm waiting. Looks like it's Heidi Chadwick. What number, Heidi, did you just create? Because I don't see nobody in our waiting room. So as you can see, I'm doing a Zoom and I'm looking through Facebook. So Harry Price says, this is not a phone. Okay, Harry. Well, we tried, Harry. You're on Facebook constantly. So, all right. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. But we're going to stay hopeful. Now, a lot of people think that tomorrow, that's it. All right, so we see somebody in our Zoom. Again, we don't see your name.
You want me to let him in?
So I don't know if that's Harry or not. So Harry's going to have to type his number on Facebook so we know that the number we see is him.
They probably aren't going to think good. I don't know, unless it's somebody you know.
So, hold on. So, Richard, listen, hold on. I want you to understand this. Richard Wake says the local 1,000 attorneys are not your personal attorneys. He's absolutely right. But they're the members.
I'm a member.
That's right. So, Richard Wake, once again, you put your foot in your mouth. Richard Wake, he really, whoo, Richard Wake, you need to get off Facebook, buddy.
Don't call him Richard. Don't Wake your question.
No. I won't call no one by that type of name because then they'll say that. No, hold on, Gerald. Hold on, Gerald. Listen to this.
It's Richard Quake.
Hold on. No. Wait a minute. Let me show you something, everybody. These people get on Facebook and they try to wear me out. Now, I'm doing a professional Zoom meeting that's being recorded that they're going to try to use against me in court. We are not going to call people outside of their name. See, that's called professionalism. When I go on Facebook and I have to go in on somebody on Facebook, I still call them by their name. You know, I may tease them a little bit, but we're doing a professional video because we're trying to inspire people to not give up on our union. DLC 767 President Richard Wake. Y'all can call him Quack and do whatever you want. But if I call him that, he'll say I'm bullying him and he'll file an HR1 on me. Do you understand how this game goes? See, he's running his game really smoothly. He's got y'all all emotional. Now, if he was to call in on Zoom, now I can get at him. But he won't call in on Zoom because he said that I was a coward and I was a chicken and I have the phone text on my phone to show that. But maybe he's the coward and he's the chicken to come on Zoom right now, because my Zoom link's on my Facebook page, to come on right now and let's have a conversation. So Richard says, hey, I'm not the president. That's not what the paperwork says, Richard. Maybe you should check your emails that you sent. Because I know what you said in December. You said that you were stepping down for 60 days. The 60 days are over, Richard. You are the president. Or you just go bending and flipping the rules the way you need it. Because that's what some of you do on the board. All right. So, we've talked about this. Tomorrow's the big day. And we're going to get through this. I'm asking everyone, $100, cash app me. This is really important that we get an attorney. It's really important. Because it's not just about me and what I'm going through. This is about the vote of membership. You come out, you vote. They tell you how important voting is in this great country, and it is. Hold on. I'm signed up in my name. I keep getting this. I give up. Please keep me posted. Okay, Heidi. This is about the vote of membership. And the meeting tomorrow is illegal. I'm glad you brought that up, Troy Phillips. It is an illegal meeting. And it's a shame. So people say, well, Richard, are you going to the meeting tomorrow? I don't plan on it. It's an illegal meeting. I didn't call the meeting. And this is, people, the board, they think that they're going to a meeting and they're doing the right thing, but they're not. They're not doing the right thing, and they're disrespecting the voters. This is going to come back on this union. Let me say this. You had a president in charge for 13 straight years. Whether you liked her or not, she was in charge. And then all of a sudden, the new person comes, and then you run him out of office. It's not going to sell. It's not going to sell. So I see Richard Wake is back on talking again. You know, Richard Wake, you have to smile when you see him. He really tries. He says the meeting to decide anything new, it's not your call who the DOC 767 president is. I'm just going off your email, Richard. So anyway, Richard Wake has come on. He tried to distract you. You see how he didn't distract me? I'm talking, I'm watching on Zoom, I'm watching on Facebook, I'm having a conversation with everyone. I invited Richard to come on. I didn't call him Richard, what should I say, Richard Quake? I didn't call him that. I didn't call him a chicken or a coward, even though he's called me that in the past. I didn't call him numbnuts. I've been called that in the past. I didn't call him arse. I've been called that in the past, Regina Brooks. Thought I forgot. I ain't forgot you, Regina. I've invited him to come on the Zoom, but he doesn't want to. You know why he doesn't want to? Because he's a symbol of some of our so-called Local 1000 leaders. It's all about them, and they don't care about Local 1000. They're not going to be, their minds are set. Until I am gone, until they have removed me, they'll keep coming. They will keep coming. Well, Richard Wake, do your job. But remember, all this stuff that you're saying and everything, you keep coming for me, trying to run me out. But someday somebody's going to come at you and they're going to run you. All this anger and resentment. Because I won an election because the other two groups couldn't stay unified. They couldn't stay to their strategy. They couldn't stay united for whatever reasons. The other two groups. And so they let, quote, the outsider come right on in. But unfortunately, what you're finding out with the VPs coming together to suspend me, what you're finding out, they're all the same. They're all the same. You have the status quo, and then you have the new group with some new clothes on, but it's still status quo underneath them. All right. So go ahead, Gerald. Come back, Gerald.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to put it back on a positive note, get off the weak guy. But,
okay.
What is your plan moving once we discredit the VPs from what they're doing, and you're back in the office? Is it, a 10-day suspension? What's your plan moving forward as far as, say, holding your meetings and doing things? Because I personally feel like they waste a lot of us members, our time. I think there's two members. When they say members, the VPs, they're talking about their clique. The ones that keep them all in office, the ones that are off on union leave, all that same old system stuff to protect each other so they can sit off on union leave for years and years and don't really help the real members. So there's two sets of members. So be careful when someone says members. What are they really talking about?
That's a great point.
So,
yeah.
So just moving forward, knowing what you know now, how the backstabbing and things go on, and I know you spent a lot of time trying to prove to people like Wake and there's a Cindy Doyle. Allen, I think. Allen.
Oh, Denise Quinn Allen.
Stuff on Facebook, and then the one lady, I think she got fired, and now she's saying you sexually harassed her and all. I just can't believe some of the stuff and the levels these people stoop to and say and put out there.
Yeah, I do. Because when you have
moving forward, do you have a plan or
yeah, I do have a
approach to
I
not
do
spend so much time
yeah, I have
trying
a
to please
yeah, I have a
those people?
right. I have a plan,
They
but
just
I'm
have negative things to say. You don't have nothing president. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. Stick to your 10-point that you were voted in to do. And I'm trying to be nice. Not everybody's kick rocks. Stick
yeah.
to your plan. And those that want to support you, put them to work and let your supporters do a lot of your work for you. I know you do a lot of me, because I mean you were built that way. And you fought hard to get to where you are in life. And I respect that. But have people around you do a lot of work for you. That's this my opinion moving forward.
Now, Gerald, you
said
said
you had
right.
a plan moving forward.
Gerald, I have a plan moving forward, but I'm not going to announce it live on Facebook. I can tell you that. And I do have people helping me. So it may appear that I'm not working with people, but I have people working with me. I just don't always say everything I'm doing. All right, next caller, Dr. Nelson.
I just want to say, Evie's been holding for quite a while, but she can't raise her hand. So I was hoping you might be able to call on her.
Yes.
Evie, it's your turn.
Appreciate you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. I appreciate that. President Brown, that was powerful. You gave us a lot of information. I have, if you give me some time, I have 3 questions. The first one is I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm just not built that way. So the military and me, regardless, I'm going to call you Mr. Wake, because I believe, as the good book says, do unto others as you wish others to do unto you. So I do not accept people disrespecting me, so I won't disrespect you, Mr. Wake. So, Mr. Wake, I'd like to ask you this question. Why do you think that the power should go to the board instead of going to all members who pay their dues for this union to run? So if it was just I don't know, how many people are on the board?
65.
It was just the 65 people who paid their dues. How many people would be on union leave? So you need all of us to be able to put anyone on union leave. You need all of us to be able to do anything where the governor would say, okay, I'll take you into a meeting. Because if it was just you 65, he wouldn't even take the time to spit on you guys, because you wouldn't matter. What I'm saying is you have to get away from that, the board this and the board that and the board that, because the board only represents who? All the members. So there has to come a time when we think outside the box and we start seeing the union for what it's supposed to be. All of us united. And I'm going to tell you, I don't agree with everything. As you saw earlier, I don't agree with everything that President Brown thinks. That's okay. I'm sure you and I, Mr. Wake, won't agree on everything. That's okay. Because it's not a dictatorship. It's a democracy. Because guess what, Mr. Wake? The type of person who thinks that we should all agree and we should all look alike and we have that type of person. And his name was Hitler. We don't want that. We are in a democracy for a reason. So, Mr. Wake, I hope that you understand that there comes a time when all of us, whether we are black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, have to stand up and unify. So all this thing about, the board this and the board that, the board needs to respect the vote of the members. Because we decided a long time ago that if it was Yvonne or your bill or our president who won, we would respect the vote. We put it in writing, and we got our policy file. So, please, at some point, you have to understand that I am Local 1000. President Brown is Local 1000. And Mr. Wake, you are Local 1000. And all of us together, we are Local 1000. We make up the union. So please stop this silliness, because people are watching us, Local 1000, all of us, and saying, what a shame. What a shame. They can't get their act together. So if you think that you're going to put Bill Hall on there and somebody's going to look at him and say, yes, we respect you, no, they're going to laugh at him. If you think you're going to put Annika Walls, and I'm going to talk to Annika personally, because she keeps saying that she's going to call me, and she's been saying that for a while, and I haven't gotten one call from her. I do not respect liars. So if you're going to say, you say on the call repeatedly that you're going to call me, please call me, because we need to talk. I do not respect liars. So, that was to you, Mr. Wake. Please, let that sink into your bones a little. 2, I want to talk to all of us. We're all in this union together, right? But for some reason, some of us think it's okay to stand back and watch as this happens to our legally voted in president. That's not okay. Do I agree with everything that President Brown thinks and says? No, but he's our president. And I don't know, it might be the military in me, but I'm going to respect that vote. I'm going to respect the title, and I'm going to respect the man for what he shows me, not what he tells me. Because what he showed me is that he's working on exactly what he said he would work on. And in the short time he's been in, we've had more than we've had in how many people? Somebody said that they've been in the union for 30 years. More from him in the short, 6-7 months? Maybe 8 months? Not quite. Than in the 30 years that we had prior to him. Respect the vote. So, that being said, complacency is the killer of innovation. We all need to stand up and stop sitting back and waiting to see what happens. Because guess what happened when that happened before? It was called the Holocaust. That didn't happen overnight. People saw what was happening. People saw, and they kept their mouth shut and said, oh, I will wait. I'm going to wait. I'll see what happens. As families were being drugged off, and they knew what was going to happen to those families, but they said nothing. Not a word. So what I'm saying is, complacency is the killer of innovation. We are on the brink of a new era in Local 1000, and we have to stop being complacent and get in, dig in, and get to work. All of us. So tomorrow, if you think that board meeting is supposed to happen, okay, see what happens when it's done. But if you don't agree, then show it. Act it out. Get busy. Because every time you say nothing is the same as you doing something. Somebody is going to get it. So is that going to be positive or negative for us? You decide. So the last thing, President Brown, someone said you were passionate. And I agree. As a Black woman, I totally understand how they take our passion as anger. I had to learn, I'm African. And if anybody understands our African culture, we're loud. That's us. That's how, just like someone else said they were Italian, and sometimes we're loud. You know, people say, oh, stop making it about race, stop making it about race, stop making it about race. Okay, I will stop making it about race when someone stops saying, oh, she's bossy. Because when I say it, as a Black woman, I'm bossy. But when someone says it, who happens to be Caucasian, and let's say male, oh, He's a leader. Because, racism is not just what you see. It's also what we feel subconsciously, what arises within us from generations and generations and generations of programming. So I would like people to think outside the box and understand that, yes, some of it is racism. And we don't even realize it, because how long did we say, hey, black men and women are being stopped because they're black. And my white friends, I love them dearly. I love them. But they say, oh, you're making too much of it. Why did it take a man to have to be, anyways, I'm not going to bring that up. What I'm saying is we have to sometimes get out of our comfort zone and see things in another fashion and get to work when we don't feel like getting to work. Stop being complacent, Local 1000, because you are Local 1000, I am Local 1000, we are Local 1000. We have to get to work together. Stop waiting for President Brown to do it. Stop waiting for these so-called VPs to do it. We have to do it. We're a union. We're the leaders. Thank you for your time, President Brown.
Thank you, Evie. She's right. I want to talk about that first part about the power. About Richard Wake said the power is with the board, and Evie said the power is with the membership, the voters. In this great country, we call ourselves a democracy, but as the man in the bar told me years ago, no, we're a democratic republic. We don't have a true democracy. And this board takes that idea of us being a democratic republic and they run with it. And it's unfortunate how the people on the board, 33 people on this board, were not even voted in by any votes because the people were silent. So this is the mindset of Mr. Wake and a few other of these DLC presidents and bunk chairs. That's their mindset. But she's absolutely right. Don't be complacent and sit back and watch this happen. And I want people to understand this. When they say about violence and this and that, and my name's associated with that, with this union, that's a racist narrative. And I don't care what people say about don't make it a racial issue. It will always be a racial issue because that's how this country was established, off the labor of the enslaved African. And you'll never be able to escape that. And too many black folks today are killed for no reason other than the color of their skin. But we're not here to talk about racism, but yet my election victory through the grace of God through Jesus Christ, this election is going to talk on many different issues. Not just about race, a lot about money, and a lot about power, and a lot about the status quo of Local 1000. And so I see what Trisha Marie is saying. We are just not a BOD ran union. We are a member ran or member led union. Member run, member ran. I don't want someone to say that I didn't have my English right. Okay, whatever. But that's how it's supposed to be. But it never has been like that. And with me in office, that's what you're getting. And that's why they're trying to run me out of office. Because remember, I won this election with not one vote from the board. That tells you that I'm for membership. I'm not from the board. I'm for the members. All right. Mary, please go ahead, Mary.
Thank you, Richard, for taking my call. Evie, you were fantastic. Thank you for sharing that information. Richard, as a part of one of the board of directors, the concerning part for me for tomorrow's meeting is this. You educated us on your PowerPoint when you sent out the Survey Monkey, and the results came back. It was in the 80 percentile that members do not said that their DLC presidents, the board of directors, do not speak their voice. If this union's purpose statement is a strong member-led union, and the members have, per the results of the Survey Monkey, I've already indicated you are not speaking my voice. How can we, as board of directors, go in and make these decisions knowing that we're not speaking on behalf of the members?
You're right. Those PowerPoints are powerful. And
I call that evidence.
well, hold on. Now, Christina, with the Italian last name, was talking about how to write a legal brief. I hope that she's downloaded all those PowerPoints, because what you just said goes into what she was saying. Whoever the attorneys are that we were working with, they need to see those PowerPoints, because it kind of lays it all out in those PowerPoints, what they're trying to do to me. And, you know, since I've been locked out of the building, you know, there's a reason why they locked me out. Because they don't have access to the stuff in my office. All right. Next caller, Mitchell Fuss.
Hello, RLB. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just have a few things I'd like to say. If I could take a few minutes to kind of go over what I've seen with your weekly podcast, I call it, over the past year. If you don't mind, I'd like to just say things that need to be heard. So, I have seen people, a group, not one, not two, not three, a group of people, week after week, call in and insult you, degrade you, and they call you a bully. They call you over the hill. They call you irrelevant. They tell you disrespectful, very evil things like go. I don't need to say what was said. You know what was said. And week after week, they kept attacking me. And I've never called before, but after seeing what happened last week, I felt it was my duty, because I think it's just the highest point of hypocrisy. My father was in the union, and my father's union, they weren't buddy-buddy with the boss. They were adversaries to the boss. Mm-hmm. They weren't up the boss's behind.
Right.
When the first thing happened in September with their little illegal meeting, I remember distinctly, surprisingly, it was a miracle. The next day, the Sacramento Bee already had an article written up hours later about how, Richard Brown's, he's disrespectful and he's damaging the relationship with the governor's office. Well, I have a news flash. The governor's the boss. Your union's not supposed to be in a good relationship with the boss. The union's supposed to fight for you. And fighting's not pleasant, okay? You don't build relationships with fights. You don't want your union president having lunches with the governor, who's your boss. And you don't want to remove people who want to further your station, further your livelihood, who are voted in democratically the way we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And I find it the utmost hypocrisy that their stupid, whatever they want to call it, took place in the so-called Democratic headquarters. I mean, can you be any more ironic? It makes no flipping sense to me. And what I think what they've done with you, Richard, and I think it's the utmost hypocrisy. I think it's a big club, and I think you're not invited. That's what it's all about. It's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Oh, this guy doesn't want to scratch anyone's back. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Let's get him out of there. That's what I think what this is all about. You have all these high-up people, leaderships, presidents, treasurers, and they're calling in and they're saying the most disrespectful things to you week after week, and they keep labeling you a bully. And I think it's a load of crap, personally. You have people crying on the phone on Zoom talking about where's their money. Well, where's the $1 million that went to reinstate the boss, the governor? He's our ultimate boss. And everyone who is in SEIO 1000, the governor's your boss. And our union paid to have him reinstated. And he screwed us over last year. What's it going to take to have a wake-up call? This board of directors isn't on your side. Okay? Richard Brown's on your side. He's not taking these stipends, to my knowledge. He's not giving people $8,000 to go to Disneyland. He's not giving people trips to Italy or Israel with union money. So all these Hippocratic board members, and I won't name names because I hear they have an army of lawyers behind them to threaten people that criticize them. But I think they just need to find jobs that they love because they don't love being representatives of our union. Thank you, Richard Brown, and God bless you.
Mitchell Fuss, thank you for that call. I know when you said that Gavin is the ultimate boss, I don't look at it like that, but I know the point you're trying to make, and I love it. The 3 groups who've been attacking me, yes, it's more than just 3 groups. They labeled me a bully. That's racist. See, they don't like when I say that, but that's racist. When a black man is doing something that doesn't fit the status quo, then they start to attack you. But in this case, it's coming from the Democratic Party, which is the hypocrisy you're talking about when they had the illegal out-of-order meeting in October at the California Democratic headquarters in downtown Sacramento. See, that told me then just how serious they were on getting me up out of here. That told me then their level of hypocrisy and evilness. I don't have to look at the Republican Party and say, oh, they're all the ones who are racist or prejudiced or this or that. No. Racism and prejudice runs in both parties. I don't know if they're in the Green Party or the Independent Party. I don't know about those parties, but I can tell you on the Republican side and the Democratic side, oh, I know you. Oh, yes, I do. I'm from the state of Missouri. I know you. You know, tomorrow's meeting is an illegal meeting. And some people are going to still go to it. And it's a shame. And a lot of people are going to be very upset. Someone just put up a comment. Quick history lesson. The original Democratic Party was the party that had slaves. And the Republican Party was anti-slavery. What happened? In the 60s, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Acts 1 and 2. He said, well, we just lost the Democrats. And some of those Democrats went into the Republican Party. And those Democrats were racist. All right, that's as fast as I can say it in 15 seconds. Now, Richard Wake's back on. He refuses to come on Zoom, but he's steady texting. He wants some attention. No, not this time. Not this time. All right, so it's 8:38. We've been going on for a while. I know it's Friday night. So we're going to shut this down because I know tomorrow's going to be a long day for the board. They start at 9. They're supposed to be done by 1. Maybe they'll have it all done by 1. Maybe the votes are already arranged. They know how they're going to do their rubber rules of order, and it's just going to work like magic. And so, I don't know if they're going, if it's all going to be by Zoom or if some people are going to the building. I don't know. I have no clue. But here's what I do know. If you believe in what Evie said tonight, what Derek, Gerald, Mary, and quite a few others have said, the last person, Mitchell Fuss, then please make a contribution to me. We're going to get an attorney. We're going to fight this. We're going to fight this. And even though people were making all these distractions right now on Facebook, talking about, my past or this or that has nothing to do with the union. But they're trying to distract you so they can discredit another black man. That's all that they're doing. And that's why sometimes I say, this is racist. Now, when will we know? Well, we're not going to really know because they're never going to put everything out on Facebook. When they have that closed door meeting, we don't know because they're not going to have meeting notes. Thank you, Pete Perez, and thank you for saying you like my great ideas. Thank you. We don't know. That means we have to trust the union. But you can't trust the VPs like you can't trust some of those board of directors. Because there's some good people on that board. And you'll know who the good people are on the board of directors. Because they probably won't be on the union. Now there's Craig Nelson. RLB, stop fucking lying. See that? Now is that bullying me? Craig Nelson? Stop fucking lying? Is that bullying me? Is that bullying me, Craig Nelson? Or should I just take it and let you just slide? It isn't racist to call it a liar. But you just called me stop fucking lying. Now if I had told Craig Nelson that same thing, they would have swore I was bullying him. Okay, Craig Nelson, maybe you are a racist. Maybe you are. Still love you though. Still hope that you get eternal life. All right, we're going to shut this down. It's 8:40. We're going to shut this down to Dr. Nelson, who helped me with the Zoom tonight. Thank you very, very much. And I know I got a little glare. I didn't have my, he told me to put my Zoom light. Nah, I didn't do it tonight. Anyway, good lighting. We're moving on. Listen, have a great Friday night. And we're not going to let the negativity that happens tomorrow destroy us. And we're going to go forward. And we're going to fight this. We're going to fight this. And if you notice tonight, I haven't gotten mad. I haven't gotten all emotional. I'm like, it's here. Okay. They thought that I was going to run down this week and rush the building so they could have me arrested. Keep thinking. And keep praying for me. I appreciate that. Don't ever stop praying for me. Keep praying for the success of our union and the success of our country. And let's pray for the people in the Ukraine. Hope that wasn't too political. I'm supposed to say that on Friday night. Love you. March 4th, 2022. I'm Richard Lewis Brown, and I am your Local 1000 president. Have a great night. Good night.